Hello again. Right, cable trade. I posted a picture about this cable trade, pound dollar. If you're not familiar with cable, it's called cable because of the cable under the Atlantic from the UK to America. Not sure whether you might be familiar with that, but that is what it's all about. The daily reverse to the downside. I mentioned that on a previous tweet, but I put some notes on there, and if you're not clear what I was talking about, basically this, when that confirmed down, I broke the down uptrend, low high high low higher high, high low lower high lower low and close. It closed through the support here of the low of this candle, but it slapped straight into this resistance of the high of this candle on the left hand side. And you know, if you're familiar with support and resistance trading, you always have to look what's over on the left hand side. That's a red candle, and as it stands, nothing over this way has broken through the high of that candle. So that means at that point that resistance was holding. Now that level, the high, if you hover your candle, you hover your mouse over there, the high is 126004. The close of this candle was 126017, but, and this is critical, it gapped down and opened below the high of that candle. So I consider that to be a perfect, that's failed to hold. The high of that old candle on the left hand side failed to hold as resistance, support rather, and the price has broken it. And that's why after a pullback this morning, against all the odds because of the way the news was, cable rallied with the worst GDP figure since records began in 1997, so 23 years or whatever. So and then it's collapsed. Now I think the whole world must have been ready for this collapse, at least I hope you were. I mean, they call it a dead cat bounce, pump and dump, call it what you like. The markets are just manipulated, and they've just driven it up for whatever reason, taking out, bringing in long trades, trapping the bull traders in, or the complete newbies, novices, retail traders and such like, and then just crashing it. So anyway, technically this was a perfect reversal to the downside. Now my trade was not technically perfect, and what I want to do is explain. I had to go out and look after animals that I look after, horses, and work with them. So I missed the perfect entry, or what I would consider the perfect entry. Had a little bit of drawdown, about 16 pips, and then the actual trade was 33 pips net winner. But let's look closely at this chart. The H4 was important because what we've got an H4 reversal to the long side, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, and close. So under normal circumstances, I would say you have to wait for the close down. In other words, a new reversal to the downside, which it hadn't done when I entered. So I needed to explain this to people that would be following this, because you'd wonder why, or at least I'd hoped you'd pick up on that. But categorically, the H4 resistance that had been broken with this up move had been broken to the downside. It hadn't closed, but I took a chance on it. You know, everything was pointing to a move down. So it was just a question of trusting my stops and increasing my target to to make the trade a sensible option. As it was, it didn't go, as I say, it didn't go more than 16 pips against me, but sadly I couldn't sit and take the trade as I normally would. other commitments. So I was quite happy when the H1 had reversed back down to the downside, which was here, low, high, high, low, high, high, and this close, double check. In fact, the price hadn't closed down, but it was taken on the strength of the M30. I do apologise, I'm confusing myself now. So the M30, we've got a clear trend. You can clearly see this now below the hourly 8 EMA, which is also an extremely useful point. We had closed down on the M30, which was this point here. Oops, why didn't that? Oh, went to the top of the candle. I do apologise. There. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Right, so yeah, M30 had closed down. Clearly high, low, lower, high, lower, low. When I entered my trade, we'd also closed down below the H1 level there. So we've got a nice strong trend in place here now. The M15 had just broken the low of the previous M15 candle. It hadn't closed, but it was just so bearish now. Lovely swing trend in place. High, low, lower, high, lower, low, pullback with the green candle there. Below the red, all averages, moving average there. The hourly 8 EMA, which is the on the 15 minute, it would be the 32 EMA. That's all that EMA is. It's the hourly 8 EMA, which is divided by 2 for the 30 minutes, or times 2 for the 30 minutes, which is 16, times 4 for the 15 minute, 4 15-minute candles in an hour, so 4 8's 32, and so on and so forth. So everything was pointing, screaming down, lovely downtrend in place. Then we had the break, and although we hadn't had to close, I preempted it. I never professed doing this, but you know, needs must. Didn't want to miss the trade. I knew it was going to go. The target for this was the H4 low. Look at the H4 candle, which would have been the potential reversal. Now, if this closes, we do have a potential for us a pullback and a potential re-entry. As I always say, don't trade what I talk about on these charts, trade what you see. We've just bounced off the S2 as well, S1 rather, I do apologise. There, look how it's used that. There is the round number as well, or half round number, I can't remember what it was there. Go down to the 15, half round number, 12550. You know, all of this stuff was representing a brilliant target for this trade to the downside, and as you can see, it's blasted through it. It's moved on a further 40 pips from my move, or from my trade rather. But I just wanted to clarify why I got in a little bit earlier. Normally I wouldn't suffer any drawdown, or want to suffer any drawdown, but you know, this was a really exceptionally unusual looking trade, which is why I wanted to make the video. Now, on this 30-minute here as well, you've actually got a proper break and close, and look how the price, there's the bust, there's the pullback, there's the 30-minute break and close, and look, no drawdown whatsoever. That's where we would have entered. This is the top of this candle here, and again, that was a little bit less, so I actually did a 1 on this occasion, 30 pips to my, or not even that. If I took profit conservatively, 17 pips, but it's moved over 50 pips since that potential entry. That was the correct entry in terms of the RSI. As you can see, the RSI has done its stuff again. Over here you can see the RSI histo did its stuff on the 30-minute long. Beautiful move from that break and close there, which is the high of that candle. Very little drawdown on that, and that was a 28 pip move to the north side as well, testing the daily pivot. So you can see how important it is to have those FXI pivots on there as well. I know it looks a little bit confusing initially, but you'll just get used to it. You can use them as targets, target to the upside, target to the downside here. The sweet spot gold indicator is superb. In fact, I'll just quickly, while we're here, show you all the indicators on my charts. Daily range is that one there. Pipsometer is that thing there, telling you how many pips you're in the red or the green for. Preferably you want to try and keep it in the green. Candle clock is this, just the open. You're below the open when it's this pinky colour, salmon. You're above the open, it'll be green. Magnified market price symbol there. You can just Google these things, and I tend to find almost all of my indicators I need on Forex Factory. You've got the spread Indy. This is just something, I think it's called O-V line, and I just added an exclamation mark at the front of it so that it went to the top of the list over on your indicators folder on the left hand side there. All for different times of the day. Vertical line it stands for. Moving averages are self-explanatory. FXI pivots we've talked about. Currency strength indicator is this thing over here. I have got a video on my YouTube channel showing you how to get the exact parameters that you need over there, so it's set up similar to mine. Currency, all averages is that coloured line there. Various ones obviously for the different moving averages on the different time frames, 15-minute, hourly and so on. Daily line boxes is the little box that sets itself up on the 15-minute breakout at 8 o'clock UK time, London Open. I've got a video on that as well, so Google YouTube, on YouTube rather, search my channel and you'll find some information about that. TMT daily candle. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. I've talked about that one. What was I looking at? Oh, candle clock. I got that wrong. Candle clock is this one. TMT daily candle is this one. My apologies. Oh, this is just something I'm playing with at the moment. Apologies for that. It shouldn't even be showing on my chart. So my lines look a bit odd. That's what that is. And that thing too. Just something I'm looking at the moment. But and then the RSI histo alert. Buttons is this thing. I think I created a video showing how to set that up as well. Recent candles. Oh, that's something. Oh, there's the ATR as well. I just want to delete that. If you're wondering why that was on my charts, I was just messing around with it. Recent candles is something I use to show me the in fact I can show you recent candles. Get rid of that one, squash that and squash that and minus that a bit. It just shows you what the spread value is on the different currency pairs. You'll notice on some of the Aussie pairs the spread value. So that's what the value of 1 pip is. So if you've got 10 pips, you earn 58 quid. 10 pips on euro, you earn £79.73, and so on and so forth. I can't remember which is the best one. It's generally something like GB Chuf, £8.38, yeah. So 1 pip is £8.38, 10 is £83.80, and so on and so forth per pip. Okay, that's all I use that thing for. It's a really useful indicator, and I have used it in the past. It just shows you all the candles on the 4 different time frames. You can set it up how you like, and when you're trading candles, you can see this is a very useful little bit of kit. Anyway, but I don't use it now, just for checking the value of things. My memory is eluding me these days, so I have to double check what's what. Alright, so cable short, bit of a no-brainer today, really. Just waiting for it to finally make its move. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day. And a good weekend, by the way.